All right, y'all, we're breaking into some breaking news right now. It looks like we may have a major tornado now occurring in portions of our far northern counties. This is in Montague and Cook counties. There could be potentially a strong to long track tornado on the ground. And you're taking a look right here at our warnings here, and this includes Cook County and Montague County. So let's get to our radar here real quick. This is a very dangerous situation ongoing, and we want people to be in Cook and Montague County. You need to be in your shelter place right now. We're going to zoom in on this storm and show you what's going on. Nasty Hook. There may have been a tornado just to the east of Fruitland earlier based off of our Doppler radar indications. We really didn't want to say anything because it looked like it may have been a poor radar reading, but right now we have what looks to be a pretty substantial tornado and a tornado debris signature. So the warning says that it is radar indicated, but people need to be treating this as if it was a PDS tornado warning. There could be a very large tornado on the ground, and you're looking at a tool exclusively here that Weather 225 has. This is our tornado detector, picked up to the east of Fruitland as we moved on in time. Large debris signature still ongoing, and I do think that we may have potentially a very strong tornado, unfortunately. And I tell you what, if you are in the community of Leo, you need to be in shelter now. Era, Valley View, Gainesville. The warning does include Munster, but it looks like it's going to go just south of there. But I do think that we have a pretty substantial tornado. Radar is indicating a debris signature. And folks, we don't say this lightly. When you have a debris signature this tall, we're looking almost 6,000 feet into the air. That is indicative of a potential strong tornado. So you need to be in your shelter place right now. This could very well be a strong PDS tornado. This could be a life-threatening situation for these areas. So you need to be in your safe space right now. We don't know how to iterate that any further. Additionally, the Weather Service has extended that PDS tornado watch to include now Wise, Denton County, and Grayson County, and it was prompted just because of this storm. Okay, we have a very serious situation here right now. Folks, if you are not in your shelter place, you need to be there now. We're just going to be, completely transparent with you. You need to be in shelter right now. This is a very dangerous situation. TVS now indicating very, very strong rotation, and we very well could have a tornado on the ground. In fact, I think that it is probably on the ground. And that latest rotation tracker, that looks like a very serious tornado could be ongoing there. I'm going to change the color table just so it matches what we have everywhere else, just so there's no confusion. Let me see. But this looks like it could be a very serious situation with this. Um, so we'll change that, I guess, later. Um, Still no word from the Weather Service. A little bit shocked that we don't have any sort of information coming in. We're wanting this to be treated as if it was a tornado on the ground, just because we're seeing signs of debris. It's in areas where there's not a lot of population, and because of the lack of population, we're not going to get as many reports. We know that there's chasers out there, but this very well could be a pretty significant tornado. And I tell you, folks, when you have a hook echo this pronounced, this far away from the radar site, this is a very significant storm. And we were talking about earlier that the conditions were favorable in the afternoon. This evening, they're even more so. We have what's called the lower level jet, and when that lower level jet kicks in, it always tends to make storms rotate even more. This storm earlier didn't look like it was going to do anything, but it just had that upper level support and that lower level jet kick in just right. And it looks like we could have potentially a pretty significant storm moving into Grayson County. And we don't want to say that. We don't say that lightly. We don't say that to overhype. We're looking at a different indicating that this could be still a pretty tremendous storm with a TVS of exceeding 100-mile-an-hour wind shear at this point in time. So very significant storm, potentially significant ongoing tornado in that area. I'm going to see if we can boot up our other radar source here. I want to get some roads on there just so people are just well aware of what's happening here, because we need people in Cook County to be in their shelters now. And again, this isn't to hype this up. This isn't to, overhype what's going on. It's hard to see storms this far out, or this far away from the radar source. And when it's this far out, it's hard to get a good reading. So when we get these debris signatures that high up, that tends to be something that we become very concerned. To be in shelter, and I'm going to transition it over to this. If you recognize any of these streets that I'm mentioning, any of these roads that I'm calling out, if you recognize any of this, you need to be in your shelter immediately. This is potentially a life-threatening situation, tornado ongoing with this storm. So again, we don't say that very lightly. We have seen a couple of indications where it very well could have been a pretty significant debris signature that far away from the radar source. We're going to go back to our tool here real quick. And while that's doing that, I'm going to move this back to the other radar source. Additionally, we're also looking at the potential for up to maybe baseball-sized hail with this, in all honesty. And there it is. This is what we were talking about, folks. On this radar source, you can see tight rotation occurring with this storm, and there it is. So we have a pretty strong TVS. We're going to look at another tool here to see if that debris is still popping up. We're not seeing that debris ball that we were potentially seeing earlier, but this is still a wicked storm that we're looking at here. So I think that it very well could be a pretty strong tornado, either occurring or about to redevelop. Again, we don't have any sort of confirmation, but we have had times with our tornado detector tool notice the large area of debris that was noticed by our radar as the storm started to push through. It may not be occurring. It may be on the ground. We just want to be on the safe side. Conditions are very favorable right now, and we need people to be taking this seriously. We get it. It's 10:15. People want to bed. They're thinking storms were winding down. This one just happened to that kind of environment, and it's taking off. And we're going to take a look at another radar source here. This is the terminal Doppler from. This is the terminal Doppler for DFW Airport, and I want to take a look and see what that has there. Still a pretty significant hook echo with that. Let's go to the T-Dow site, just a little bit south by a couple of miles, and we're going to see what that one has to say about this storm. Very strong rotation still being picked up on that one too. So we're in a problematic area as well, where this is right in between basically all of our radar sources. So we have to work with what we've got. And when several of these are showing that tight rotation with that red on our rotation tracker, and I'll bring that up here, moderate, we're approaching strong rotation with this too. We need to be keeping just a very close eye on that. And we're starting to see that strong rotation occurring with this too. So here's that banner. Very strong rotation now being picked up by Doppler radar with this storm based off of the T-Dow radar. And we're going to go back to the Fort Worth site just to see if that one has any other idea what to do with this. Weather Service also issuing a considerable damage tag for the potential of up to almost 2-inch hail. And let's see here. Still strong rotation with this storm as it's making its way closer to Leo and Era, and it's going to be eventually near Valley View here in the next little bit. So we're going to be transitioning over to this radar real quick. And let's go ahead and do a track of this real quick, just so people are aware. We'll clear some of that, and we're going to put a manual track on the most dangerous part of this storm. I'm actually going to do probably a line. Nope, I'll do a kind of a broader track here. And this is moving around east around 40 miles an hour, so we're going to zoom out just a little bit just to fill up more space. So if you live in Gainesville, this is going to be around that area closer to about 1043, 1050 in Oak Ridge, Tioga 1058, Collinsville 1059, Gunter at 1112, and Dorchester if it holds together by around 1116. So this is the current track of this storm. Very significant storm ongoing. So we're going to go ahead and just save that and post it. this other radar source here. Let's see if we can get that to load. Here's a look at where that is, and you can see that that rotation now is located basically over Pilot Point. So let's go to the other radar source that we have on this. And it looks like that rotation now is located basically on Pilot Point. If you're in Pilot Point, you need to be in shelter immediately. You're out of time in Pilot Point. That rotation looks to be basically over the Pilot Point area, so we're hoping that it's not causing damage, but you need to be in your shelter in Pilot Point right now. Still strong rotation ongoing with that storm. Let's take a look at our rotation tracker with that as well. See if we can get anything. Still very strong area of rotation ongoing with that. So in Pilot Point, you need to be in shelter immediately if you are in Pilot Point. The rotation is likely over you right now, so just get to shelter immediately. And that is the lowest floor, sturdy building. Make sure that you put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Cover yourself with pillows and blankets. Make sure if you have any sporting equipment that's protective, put that on. Take your family to shelter. Take your pets to shelter. Get there now. Still a very serious situation ongoing here with that. And let's actually see real quick. Let's check a different radar source here and see what that one has to say. We're going to go to the DFW radar site. This is the terminal Doppler radar for DFW Airport. This is the closest look we're going to get to this. And hopefully it is not range folding. That one also shows a very strong area of rotation near the Pilot Point area. So this is the closest radar that we've got to that area. And again, it's also showing us that there is a strong tornado seen on radar at this point in time. So again, we hate to say it, but you need to be in shelter for the risk of a pretty significant tornado that is likely still occurring here with this. Let's go back to our regular radar site here real quick. And if you're just now tuning in with us, we have a PDS tornado warning on the northern sides of the Metroplex. PDS stands for particularly dangerous situation. We have a pretty strong area of rotation now, slowly moving over the Pilot Point area. It's right over town now, so if you're in Pilot Point, you're out of time. You need to be in your shelter immediately. Again, this has been reported as a large damaging tornado, and we just want to make sure that you're safe. So you need to be in your shelter right now in these areas between Tioga and Aubrey, especially Pilot Point. Eventually off to the east, when we're in the Collin County area and Grayson County area, that's when we're going to be looking at areas like Gunter, Van Alstyne, Weston, Salina, Anna, Melissa. These areas are going to be under the gun in just a little bit, so you need to be watching this and very vigilant, keeping a very close eye on what's going on. There's that pretty tight and impressive couplet ongoing with that, and we are still watching that rotation tracker over the community of Pilot Point, so keeping a very close eye on this. This could be still a pretty significant tornado occurring in that area, so watching that very carefully. Let's go back to our regular radar, and yeah, so you need to be in your shelter in these locations. I'm going to be bouncing around on some other streams to see if other that we're watching on a separate monitor are still seeing anything. Because earlier we saw a couple chasers with a pretty large tornado. This is in a more populated area, so if chasers are going to see it, the road networks are better here, so they might see something better. Please don't go out and try and look at this just because we don't want anyone to be hurt by these things. There's trained professionals out there. Just make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Make sure that you're keeping you and your family safe and just seeking shelter away from this as it moves into the area. So again, particularly dangerous situation, ongoing. We have this in portions of the Metroplex. We're going to get you through this, but right now it looks like a pretty significant tornado still might be occurring in portions of the area. Right now the immediate risk is in the community of Pilot Point, where strong rotation is still located. So we're going to get an update here in the next couple seconds with the radar, and I'm very curious to see if it's maintaining its strength in the next one. Hopefully this starts to die off here, but this is a pretty strong rotation area that we're watching here. Let's see if we can change the storm motion from the warning. So this is what we've got going on there. I'm going to go back to another radar source and let's actually see if we can get a track on this. So we're going to put that up here in just a second, but I want to put kind of just a broad look at this. Alright, so we're going to put this up on the other screen here in just a second. Let's change our input. So here's the latest track on this, and we'll move this over so you can see it. But this is the latest track on what we've got with this storm. So Tioga, it'll be there roughly right now. Gunter, it's going to be there around 11:27-ish. Van Alstyne, it'll be there roughly around 11:38. And let's go to the rotation tracker on this one too. Let's go back to reflectivity. And again, you're looking, if you're just now tuning in, this is a look at the times of arrival for that storm making its way to the east. Roughly at around, storm motion was saying about 45 to 50 miles an hour. I think the warning said that this was moving to the east at 20. So I think that this one's starting to kick up a little bit of speed. We're going to get another update here in the next couple of seconds. Let's go back to our other radar source here real quick. And again, Tioga Pilot Point needs to be in their shelter just because this is where the worst of the storm looks to be located. It's not, the rotation area is not moving very fast either. It's sitting basically still to the northwest of Pilot Point, now to the north of Pilot Point. So again, very dangerous situation. Now, not to downplay this. We're not going to downplay this. Please don't downplay this when we say that in the last scan, this does not look as impressive as it was just a little bit ago. We had that very tight rotation where you saw those bright greens and those bright yellows coming together, but that last scan, it looks a little bit weaker. Rotation tracker is also kind of in agreement with that there as well. So this might be starting to come down just a little bit, and hopefully that's the case so we can get rid of this and not have any problems. But I will say this might start to hand off. And what we mean by that is when you have the original, we've seen this in Oklahoma time and time again over the last month, this might be retreating, and the new area of rotation is actually going to be forming to the northwest of Salina. So it looks like we might be going through a handoff phase where this rotation is going to die off, but now we're getting a new area that's going to be forming just to the southwest of Gunter. So we need to be watching that very carefully, just because that hook is now to the east of where the original rotation is located. And I want to put this. Yep. And this one's going to the north. So tornadoes typically, when they're on a weakening trend or dying off, they will move off to the north. And this looks like it's going through a handoff phase. So get ready, Gunter and Salina. Pilot Point, still tornado out there, but that one might be one of the two that could be occurring with this. I think that areas between Gunter and Salina along 289 need to be ready. This could start to ramp up pretty quickly off to the east, and that might be the new mesocyclone that takes over. You can see over the last scan, there's these two areas of rotation. One is becoming stronger to the east, and the one area of rotation that we said was basically sitting over Pilot Point. I had my suspicions, but now it's apparent the tornado is turning well to the north. So Tioga, get ready. The tornado, if it's turning to the north, could still hit your area. And then areas like Weston, Salina, Gunter, Van Alstyne, and Anna get to shelter now. There might be a new mesocyclone starting to form to the east of where this original one is. And in that last scan, we're starting to see some stronger normalized rotation coming up with that. So this is coming up pretty fast, folks. You need to be in shelter now in Tioga, Pilot Point, Gunter, Salina, Weston, Van Alstyne. I think we're starting to see the handoff, and this is going to start transitioning from the old tornado mesocyclone over to the new one, which is going to form off to the east. And this is gonna come up pretty quickly, folks, and you just need to be ready. Yep. Okay, that's exactly what's happening. Tornado near Pilot Point has died off. We're seeing that new tornado forming near Gunter. You're seeing it here first, folks. The handoff is complete. We probably have a confirmed tornado making its way to the ground right now to the north of Salina. And Gunter and Salina get into shelter. Weston, you need to be in shelter now too. Again, hate saying this, but this is ramping up pretty fast. And if things do not change, there could be another strong long track tornado that forms with this. And that's just unfortunately what is probably happening with this. So you need to be in your shelters now with this storm occurring. We're going to post something to our social media here real quick. But it looks like now we have a new area of rotation that is just blown up in the last scan. We mentioned that handoff. That tornado was retreating to the north because it was dying off. Unfortunately, now we're seeing that in person here with that. So we're going to post something here to our social media real quick. Strong tornado now possibly forming. We'll check a look. We'll on the latest that just came in. So if you're just now tuning in, we're taking a look behind the scenes at a couple different things. Man, if we don't have a debris signature within the next scan, I'm going to be surprised. This is going to be crossing 377 or 289, excuse me, in the next 5 minutes or less. Very, very strong rotation now occurring between the communities of Gunter and Salina. And that is a very strong area of rotation that we're watching there at this time. You can see there's some pretty strong rotation occurring. You need to be in your shelter areas if you are not already in this area. And we're seeing, retweeting it on my personal Twitter. Of a video of what looks like a large tornado with power flashes. This was the original one earlier. All right, and we're also getting reports. Hate seeing this, but we have reports now of serious damage reported in the area of Interstate 35 and Lone Oak Road between Sanger and Valley View. We have significant damage now. So if you're just now tuning in, this has had a history of producing large tornadoes with significant damage. You need to be in your shelter area and taking this very, very seriously if you're in the path of this. This has had a history, like we said, producing strong tornadoes. And now we unfortunately have these reports of major damage now from this. Trying to read through a bunch of these reports that we're getting right now. All right, so now we have these unfortunate reports of major damage now from this. If you're just now tuning in, we see that there's a lot more viewers now. We have major damage reported near I-35 when this was crossing to the north of Sanger and Valley View. Trying to get additional reports in. Major damage. Numerous ambulances have been requested to the area of I-35 and Lone Star Road. Multiple injuries related to tornado storm damage. Oh boy. And it hit a truck stop. It looks like the ambulance bus from Flower Mound has been dispatched to that area from major damage and several injuries between Valley View and Sanger from when this was on the ground earlier. We hate hearing that, folks. This has been a very, very long evening. I will say over the last scan, fortunately, it doesn't look like this one is as strong as it was, but there is still likely a tornado on the ground crossing between Gunter and Salina. So we have significant damage reported now. The I-35 corridor between Valley View and just now tuning in with us, the emergency management out there, unfortunately, they're asking for numerous ambulances to assist them in treating multiple injuries now in that area. And it looks like a truck stop was hit, and they've requested that the Flower Mound Ambus, that is the ambulance bus, be directed to that area. Hate hearing about that. Hate seeing these reports where it's impacting these people's lives in the way that it is. But like we said, we're going to get you through this. We're keeping an eye on this, and we're going to get you through this storm. It's been a massive problem for portions of our area, and like we said, we hate seeing these kinds of reports, but we're getting just absolutely numerous reports See, Weather Service is saying seek shelter now in Salina, Weston, and Anna. New tornado appears to be developing. Oh boy, it looks like there might even be injuries from vehicles that were tossed. So we have video from I-35 of tractor trailers blown off the road, other vehicles that were impacted, and now we are still seeing this pesky storm. And oh boy, okay, here we go again. Strong tornado. We have a very large debris signature now between Weston and Salina. Weston, you need to be in your shelter right now. We're just going to be flat out. We're just going to be flat out transparent with you. The community of Weston needs to be in shelter immediately. This is a potentially life-threatening situation now moving into that area. And with the debris signature that we're seeing now, it looks to be over a mile in diameter. And we don't say that to overhype this. We need people to realize that this is a catastrophic storm for some areas where there's significant damage. We have injuries. This has been seen numerous times. It has been going through numerous life cycles. But we need people to realize this is as serious as it gets, and if you're not paying attention, it's going to catch you off guard, and it's going to be a pretty significant situation when that moves into your area. So let's go back to this real quick. The other radar product here real quick, just getting tools looking in on that for some reason. But this is as serious as it gets, and we just want to make sure that you are prepared for when this moves in, because this is a potential life-threatening situation. This storm is now located over Weston. If you're in Weston, you need to be in shelter immediately, just because it is over your community right now, and this is looking like a very serious situation in that area. And this is a pretty severe signature that we are looking at here, unfortunately, and it looks like this is a pretty large area of debris. We need to post this out and get as many people aware of this as possible, just because we're in Memorial Day weekend. There's people doing all sorts of different plans and not focused on the weather, and when that happens, they may not be aware of what's happening with this, and I am still very, very concerned with this. This is not letting up, folks, and this is in an environment where it has no other storm to try and deprive it of energy, and this is, like we've said, this is as serious as it gets, and we just want to make sure that you're safe and that you're paying attention to these. Where is... See if we're getting any sort of new reports here from this. Still seeing those requests for ambulances with that part of the storm from earlier. Sorry if you're tuning in and we're quiet right now. We're looking over just a bunch of reports and we're just looking at this radar indication. Weather Service still continuing the PDS tornado warning, and it still looks like there's a pretty large area of debris that was located near Weston. Hopefully that we don't see another resurgence of that debris ball right over that community in the next scan. But still, Weston needs to be in their shelter, taking this very, very seriously. This has had a history of producing some major damage. And even injury earlier. So still seeing videos of the large tornado in the Pilot Point area. And let's actually look at this. I haven't done this yet. Let's take a look at we'll show you kind of where this has been tracking. So this is not a live view. This is looking at the live, which is now near Weston, compared to the rotation track from earlier. So you can see the general track of this from where it crossed from Pilot Point, between Pilot Point and between Tioga and Aubrey, all the way into Weston. It doesn't go as far back to show you this. We'll see if we can get that loaded up in there. But this has been a very long track supercell, causing numerous problems. Let's take a look at our velocity. Take this off here. And this might be recycling once again. I think the tornado is still on the ground, so if you're in Weston, the tornado is over you right now. I want to show the tool that we haven't used before, but this is very helpful with situations like this. So this is what we call our TDEF. Now keep in mind, this is not an official rating or anything like that. That comes with what happens following the event when the Weather Service physically goes out and looks at structural integrity, damage, and they assess everything. This is showing us what the strength of the winds is and other computer algorithms with the shear to show us what that could be in correlation with or similar to in strength wind speed wise. And right now, this is showing high-end EF2, maybe even a little bit stronger than that. So just to show you the severity of this, this is a pretty strong tornado still based off of this tool. And we don't show it too often on air because we don't want people to take it seriously and think that it is exactly that. But this has been tested before. It's worked pretty good with the wind speeds and what was verified. And right now, we're looking at the majority of this area is sampling about medium to high-end EF2 tornado, maybe even a little bit stronger with those winds. So that's just something that we want to, let you know, strength-wise, that could be something that we're looking at. So let's go back to our rotation tracker here. Again, wind speed values are showing it could be a medium to high-end EF2 at this moment. There's been a couple times where it didn't show up just because we've been too far away from the radar. But now that we're seeing that pop up better, we can give you a little bit better estimate. That's still a pretty strong tornado that will cause some pretty good damage. And this thing is not letting up. It's recycling again. The rotation has now come up once again. It started to weaken a little bit, but now it's recycling, and now we're going to have another tornado to deal with here. So Van Alstyne, Anna, okay. So they went ahead and they issued a new particularly dangerous situation. Folks, this is going to be on the ground periodically all the way since roughly about Montague County. And this is going to be making its way into Hunt County here in the next little bit. This is a very significant tornado, and this, not to overhype this and not to be over dramatic, but personally, just experience-wise, this is one of the more intense tornadoes that we've covered in quite a long time. And we don't say that lightly. I cannot recall the last time that we had a long track tornado in North Texas since trying to remember the last time we had one that was this long tracked. Very serious situation nonetheless, so make sure that you get to your shelters immediately in this area. We're going to go ahead and post another alert, and we are really, really hoping that this storm will just die out here in the next little bit. Don't like seeing these long track storms do damage, and we've had reports of injuries, reports of damage, and it's just unfortunate that tonight these storms were able to tap into that kind of environment here and cause that kind of problem for many areas up to the north. So again, this tornado warning was just issued, and this is until 12:15 a.m. This is also a particularly dangerous situation tornado warning. So we're gonna go ahead and post that. And let's take a look real quick at a couple of other tools. So we're going to download that. Additionally, this is not for our county coverage area, but it looks like there's a pretty significant tornado too. Tulsa area. So long night for the Southern Plains right now. That is a very significant looking tornado up to the north there too. So if you're just now tuning in, we have, again, a new tornado warning that was just issued until 12:15. And this goes for Hunt, Colin, Grayson, and Fannin. Let's see. And sorry if this is taking a minute for us, folks. We don't have an automated system to send these out, so I have to type in the alert text for when these alerts come out. So we're typing this out, sending it out. We just want to make sure, we know that people are watching here live, but we want to make sure it's not for views or anything like that. We're just trying to draw as much people into this as possible so that we can alert them with the information that they need for these very dangerous storms moving through the area at this point in time. So we have this going on here. Again, very significant storm, still ongoing, potential significant tornado. Weather Service still putting a PDS tag on this. And I'm actually curious over the last couple scans if there's a new area trying to form to the east of that one. And if this is going to go off. This might be trying to do another handoff. That would be something else. Still some fairly moderate rotation now occurring with this just between Weston and Anna, and this is going to be crossing Highway 75 here basically at any moment in time. It is right there. So if you're on Highway 75, find a place to shelter now between Van Alstyne and Melissa. This is going to be basically going right in between Anna and Melissa, but both of these communities need to be in shelter just in case this kind of wobbles a little bit over the next little while. Tornado now crossing Highway 75, strengthening once again, stronger rotation now with the normalized rotation, unfortunately, and it is over Highway 75. And unfortunately, it looks like that's going to be creating issues there in that area. So if you're on 75, if you're listening to us, if you're a truck driver, if you're just driving a regular car, just find a place to shelter. Do not shelter underneath an overpass. That is incredibly dangerous and not smart. But don't be driving into this. Just make sure you get to shelter. There's a gas station and you can pull off very quickly, get inside. They will probably have shelter options in there. Make sure that you are not driving into this. The community of Anna needs to be on high alert. Same with Melissa. This is crossing 75 now. So this is crossing there, and it's going to be creating problems here in the next little bit. I will say, though, there might start to be a little cell interaction that we need to be watching there, too. That might increase this rotation here pretty quickly as well. We need to be watching that very carefully. But right now, the strongest rotation looks to be basically to the southwest of Anna as well. So if you're just now tuning in with us, time now is 11:46. We've been going on for a very, very long time covering this long tracked, very, very dangerous supercell throughout portions of North Texas. And this is still causing problems. I'm going to check our comments real quick just because we have a couple people that are asking some comments. Someone asked, they heard it touch down around Anna. There could still be a tornado in that area. Had a radar confirmed tornado near Weston earlier. Someone asked a little bit ago, which way is it going? The current track is moving to the east-southeast. And I believe that the Weather Service said that this was around to the east at 50 miles an hour now. So we're going to check real quick. A couple of tools. We're going to go through those. And the tornado is crossing 75 now. So the tornado is crossing Highway 75 at this moment in time. Again, very dangerous situation. Communities like Melissa and Anna need to be getting to their shelter immediately. Also checking to see if we have any sort of reports or any videos or anything coming in here. So some good news with this is as this is moving to the east, it looks like the Weather Service is trimming off the tornado watch behind it. Man, that rotation, it is relentless. Now, something we need to be watching too is that cell interaction might start to it may start to attempt another handoff to the east, and that's something we need to be watching very carefully. So no immediate tornado risk with this area that we're watching to the east right now, but if this area to the west starts to die off with that cell interaction, it might hand off again like it did earlier. So that's something we need to be watching very carefully. But significant rotation still located just to the west of Highway 75 on the radar. But I believe that this is sitting over Highway 75 right now to the northwest of Melissa. Trying to see if there's any new reports coming in. And okay, so there's trees blocking the road 2 miles north of Salina, and these are large trees. We're retweeting that. So we're now getting some confirmation now that back when this was near Salina, there was numerous areas of damage and trees blocking the roadways up there. I'm going to see too if we can get any other unconfirmed reports of potential mass casualty situation back when this was between when this was near the Valley View area when it hit a truck stop. Multiple entrapments reported, multiple trucks overturned on I-35. Man, it does not sound like the West. Still pretty frightening when it comes to what we dread report-wise in our area. It sounds like there's still multiple injuries from that truck stop that was obliterated. I just saw a picture from that truck stop. It does not look good out there. Okay, multiple power flashes northwest of 2341 trained weather spotter. Okay, so we have that just now. Tornado in Anna. Doesn't look like anything on radar now, folks, but tornado is there. I'm still watching that area to the east of that. This might be going through a handoff, but right now we have multiple people seeing this on Highway 75 near Anna. Multiple power flashes, very visible to a lot of these chasers as of a minute ago. Confirmed tornado was moving into Anna Melissa. So if you are in Anna and if you are in Melissa, you need to be in your shelter now. This is a confirmed tornado now, again, with this storm, where they're seeing power flashes with this. And I tell you, I'm not liking that area to the east again either. This is starting to come up fast. And now that I'm looking at it, it's doing exactly what it did earlier. The original mesocyclone, it's hanging back and it's almost stationary. I bet you this is going to start moving a little bit more to the north, so Anna needs to be hyper alert. But off to the east, this is probably going to do the same thing it did earlier and do another handoff, and this is going to be probably another area of rotation that forms pretty quickly. This is sitting over Highway 75, and it is continuing to do exactly what the old area of rotation did when it did this handoff. This is a very, very dangerous situation. Multiple trees down, approximately 3 miles northeast of Salina. Several first responders are being dispatched to that scene still. That is a new report that we just got. Man. Okay, so it's doing exactly what we thought. We're seeing a new area with this cell interaction. Westminster, get into shelter now. Blue Ridge, even southern portions of Desert, get to shelter now. There is another handoff occurring. The stronger rotation is occurring just to the east of the original. Still an ongoing tornado between the communities of Anna and Melissa. This is causing damage. We have seen reports of power flashes, but this is going to quickly start to go away before the next handoff occurs, and the area near Westminster is going to be the primary rotation here in just a second. So we're seeing a handoff occur once again. This is doing exactly what it did earlier, and we need to be watching this very carefully. We're giving you as much advanced warning as possible. You're only going to see this here, calling it out. It's doing exactly what it did earlier. And, you know, this is why when a warning is issued that you need to seek shelter immediately. Because when we see something like this and it does its little quick handoff, you know, people who might be looking at the rotation in Anna thinking, you know, I've got some time to get to shelter, I'm not going to immediately rush there. This is coming up fast, folks. And when this comes up fast, there's not going to be as much time to get to that shelter that you thought that you had. And we're noticing that it's starting to do another handoff. So this cuts your time basically in half if you were in Westminster, Blue Ridge, Merritt, and Celeste, and Leonard. So we're noticing that the rotation is increasing off to the east. Still an ongoing tornado off to the west near Anna and Melissa. That rotation is starting to turn a little bit more to the north. And that looks like it's going to do another handoff here. Thankfully, Weather Service has gone ahead and they've lowered that tornado warning to a basic tornado warning. A little bit surprised by that because we had that report 5 minutes ago about the one near Anna and Melissa, unless that was delayed. But right now we have 2 areas of rotation. Still treat them like they're confirmed, folks. This is a very serious situation. It's been a very serious situation. But yeah, no, we're keeping a very close eye on this. So, because this is no longer confirmed, we're going to go ahead and just take a quick break because we have been live now for over 2 hours. I'm going to get a drink and then we're going to come back to this. But we need to be keeping a very close eye on this. It could recycle again immediately. Also, folks, please keep areas to the west in your prayers. Still, I'm not liking the things I'm hearing out of the Valley View area along Highway 35 earlier. Still seeing just a ton of reports of entrapment and injuries from a truck stop that took a direct hit. And it sounds like that was a very significant tornado that hit there. It was from this storm. Still seeing multiple reports there. Oh, wow. Chaser that we've talked to before from our Northwest Arkansas coverage area just posted this photo that we just retweeted of what appears to be a large tornado earlier in that coverage that we were doing. So we're going to go ahead and put this into motion, and we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.